It's the one we've all been waiting for. These are your top 10 worst Premier League signings so far this season. Yesterday, of course, we went through our top 10 best signings so far. Today, it is the worst. And if you didn't see yesterday's, let me clarify why we're doing this today. Why do you see a little 1 out of 4? If you follow me on TikTok for the last couple years, we do this where a quarter of the way through the season, 9-10 games in, we do this video, we update it at halfway, then again at 3/4, and again in May to see our final list, who makes it off, who slowly creeps up and gets into the list. We'll see from there rather than being very reactionary, if you will. So without further ado, before we tuck in, I will say, if you haven't already, please do help subscribe. We are slowly ticking towards that 50k. If we do touch 50k, I told you lot, I will try to start doing watch-alongs just like we did for the Nigeria game a couple weeks ago. A little trial run that was. Anyway, let's get cracking, because as you guys saw in the best signings video, in 10th I had Donnarumma, which means yin and yang effect. In 10th today, we have James Trafford. Listen, condolences to him. It's not necessarily his fault, but as far as a transfer is concerned, you know, he didn't know. He wasn't told. Basically, put it this way, he was sold a dream, right? He thought, yeah, I'm going to come City. I'm going to be the main guy. Yo, England World Cup coming up next year. Who knows? And then Luis Enrique says, yo, Donnarumma, off you pop, son. Suddenly, his whole life has collapsed. He ain't playing a single minute bar, you know, Huddersfield and Swansea yesterday. Premier League, 0 minutes. And for 30 million, that's not really acceptable. So unfortunately, through no fault of his own, it is a pretty bad signing. I think if you ask Trafford, would he have still gone knowing what he knows now? Probably not. And likewise City, again, you can get better backup keepers to go and chuck in Carabao games for like 5 million, 10 million, not 30 M's. But hey, again, unfortunate for him. Up into 9th place, we have Jadon Sancho. It's looking dark for this guy, bros. I can't lie, it's looking dark. Because I don't know what's worse, right? Coming on the pitch, off the bench, to then still get subbed, or the fact that we've got Maybach May posting fail compilations on Twitter. What has the world come to? 2025. You got people like this making fail compilations. They're watching your every move. Even in the Europa League, they're watching your every move to hate and post fail comps. It's a far cry from the Dortmund days when he was putting up those crazy numbers in Bundesliga and had United fans begging every summer, every January, please come to us, come to our team, come to our team. Now, I mean, he's barely getting games for Aston Villa, but again, it's only a loan, so we're going to have him quite low down in the ranking, but so far, he hasn't really offered anything to Villa as of yet. Another player who has offered nothing at all is 8th Wissa of Newcastle. Now, I have made sort of an effort, if you will, to not include players that have had injuries this season, because, you know, again, injuries, it's not really someone's fault, and it's quite harsh to put someone that gets injured for, you know, 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. The reason why I make one exception here is because he hasn't played 1 single minute for Newcastle, and potentially, at the time of recording, obviously, it's the 30th of October, so we don't know what's going to happen eventually. But it's potentially the case that he will not play a single minute this season. Now, why is that bad as well? Because the big money they paid was to get him with 1 year left on his deal. So, essentially, they could have just waited and got him for free. Now, I remember I was watching Congo in the World Cup qualifiers live. Well, I didn't watch it live, so actually, yes, I did, bro. Who's gonna stop me? DSTV Sport or something, Super Sport in Ghana. You're not gonna catch me, bro. Yes, I had the link on my laptop. I was watching that, and there was one run where he stumbled and his knees buckled. I don't know if that's where he got the injury from. I don't know if it's ACL, MCL. No one's even saying anything, but it's looking very dark because other players, again, you pay 30, 40 M's, they get injured for like a month or two. It's not great, but you've got them for years to come, and they might play a few games here and there. They could have just waited and got this guy for free. So, by technicality, it's a really bad signing. Up into 7th, we have our last loan, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, our final loan of this list. In 7th, we have Zinchenko, who has gone through 3 gaffers so far at Forest and hasn't suited any of them. Obviously, we know a couple weeks ago he bagged his own goal. I gave you guys a speech time ago about, for me, there was a period where he first went to Arsenal, 22-23. Those early months, you're thinking, what on earth is this, bro? A bit like when Cancelo started going crazy for City. You're thinking, raw, this guy's doing the inverted thing. This guy can play in midfield. He's doing the press baiting. He's doing the line-breaking passes. You're thinking, raw. And then obviously he starts going to, you know, Rio Ferdinand podcasts and talking about, you know, the usual stuff, man. Yeah, if I come in the medials, what's your winger gonna do? So you kind of stop me? He does all that kind of stuff. And then too much talking. He posted a certain something on his IG story, and since then the form has plummeted. Not been great for Forest at all. Forest themselves, you know, have been fighting relegation this season. Obviously early days, 9 games in, but again, let's see if he can adapt and make it off the list by Christmas when we revisit at the halfway point of the season. In 6th place, someone who I do not envision making it off this list because I know they're not very good at football, is Garnacho. I'm sorry, you cannot gaslight me on Garnacho. I am watching with my very 2 eyes. United fans, shake my hand. Now you guys don't have to lie anymore. You haven't got to do the thing of like, oh, he's only 19, oh, he's only 20, oh, he's only 21. He's not your problem anymore. Let's shake hands and admit, this guy ain't good, bro. This guy ain't good. I'm sorry to tell you, he's not very good. He comes in. I remember he was sitting at Stamford Bridge with his arms on the chairs like that, like he owns the place. He's sitting on the bench doing a celebration to lose again. He's not very good. And the issue with his one is that he's now taking minutes away from talented wingers. Obviously, you might know how much I've been gassing up Esteval. Now, again, you could argue Esteval play on the right, whatever the case may be. Sure, no problem. I even think Gittins is better than him, bro. Gittins has offered more, in my opinion, when he was at Dortmund in Champions League than Garnacho has. They're going to bring up Benfica, where it was a lucky cross that turned into an own goal that he created, and he scored 1 goal against Sunderland here. All in all, for the price tag, for the baggage it comes with, he's not very good. He just gets his head down, runs like Crash Bandicoot. I mean, him and Neto, it's like two treacherous twins or whatever on the Chelsea wings, taking minutes away from talented wingers, in my opinion. And eventually, if Chelsea fans disagree with me, no problem. I expect that by now. You will see the light soon enough. But anyway, let's move on to 5th place. Number 5, we have someone who's gone under the radar because they don't play for a big 5 club. His name is Xavi Simons. When do we open the conversations? Because unlike Garnacho, this is someone that I do respect as a footballer and as a person in general as well. I think he's quite good, to be honest with you. But it's not been the case so far. And they try to do this thing on Twitter where, like, or other apps, I don't know what conversations happening elsewhere, but you get my point. They try to say, oh, but he's contributing, you know, outside of the GA. He doesn't need the GA to be contributing. You don't have to lie. Again, contrary to what you may or not believe, we are watching the games. He's constantly giving the ball away. He's getting bullied, out-muscled. He's trying little like Rabona flicks or whatever 5-star skill moves and losing the ball. So whether you want to pretend or not, he hasn't contributed anything positive to Tottenham so far this season. Again, this is a so far list. It doesn't mean that I believe you will be a flop in May or you're a terrible signing overall, but I have to base it off of what we've seen so far with an unbiased eye. And so far, he hasn't delivered whatsoever. I'm sorry to tell you. I've seen him try a couple pop shots, but in the end, he's hooked because he hasn't delivered the goods for Tottenham so far. Now, you may be wondering, no Liverpool players so far? What's going on? Don't worry. In 4th, we have Alexander Isak. Again, this is my case on point regarding me thinking you're good or bad doesn't affect whether you can get to be on this list or not, right? I think Isak is very good, and that's actually why he's on here. Because I feel like everyone expected Isak goes to Liverpool. I had them as my title favourites. I'm sure many of you guys watching did as well. He hasn't delivered whatsoever, bros. And we can talk about fitness, we can talk about whatever. There was a moment, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. Sorry, I made the exact dates wrong. Where Arne Slot said, okay, he's been having his preseason or whatever, but from now, you can start judging him. And from that now, he still did nothing, and then he got injured again. So at what point do you say, yo, come on, guys. This is not a good start. For the all-time Premier League record holder to be playing like Specs Gonzalez as of the 30th of October, we can't pretend that it's been a good signing so far. That may change. He might come back and bag 15, 20 goals. But for the time being, just like we had a Ekitike in our top 3, I've got to say, Isak, you have to be on my list. You're only low down or lower down because, again, I gave you the first few games, lack of fitness or whatever, although it's your own fault for being a crybaby with the whole Newcastle thing. And obviously just this last week or so, you've been injured. But on the pitch as well, other than one goal against... who did you guys play? It was a Carabao game, wasn't it? Some meaty team anyway. Apologies to whatever team that was, but it wasn't a serious team. He scored a goal and then he done his thing at Anfield and that was it. We never saw him again in the Premier League score a goal. So there is Isak in 4th place. In 3rd is back-to-back Liverpool players because I have Jeremy Frimpong. This is a player who, unlike Isak, I don't believe in. Not to say that he's bad, so I want to clarify that, but I don't believe in him at Liverpool. I think if he had gone to like a United or something, for their system, I think he could have been flying. But for all the talk about how bad Trent is at defending and blah, 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 I'll be honest. I don't think Frimpong is better than Trent, rather, at anything other than pace. Every attribute Trent has, I think is better than Frimpong's, bar pace, and I guess, like, I don't know, agility and anything to do with, like, sprinting, essentially. I think Frimpong, you know, he's class at that, big ups to him. But it's just not worked at all, and people think that I don't know, like I hate Salah or something. I just give my opinions. And in fairness to Salah, what are you meant to do when you've got this Frimpong guy occupying your spaces half the game, bro? Like, it's not the same link-up. You have to adapt. Trent could pick up the ball wherever he wants on the pitch and just whip it and find Salah in acres of space. What Salah does with the ball afterwards, that's his own prerogative. It's not down to me, but it's just not clicked so far. And I don't really believe it will in a back 4 for Liverpool for Frimpong. So there we are. We move on to our 2nd place, just missing out. And what do you know? It's a hat-trick, because in 2nd we have Florian Wirtz. Please come to the stand. This one hurts, I'll be honest, because I gave him a crazy amount of praise before joining Liverpool. Even the first few weeks I kept on saying, nah. Bro, against Burnley it's tough. Oh, against Bournemouth it's a difficult team to play. Oh, against Newcastle, the midfield is crazy. I kept saying every game, oh no, but hear me out. Like, it's a tough opponent. It's not his kind of game. At some point in time, there has to be a game that's suitable for Florian Wirtz, bro. We cannot say every single week, but it's just not the right tactical set. But this team plays not to his strengths. Bro, you are there. You broke the record before Isak for Liverpool to unlock these defenses. You haven't done any of that unlocking. They're going to try and do the same thing at Xavi Simons. Oh, but look at the off-the-ball contributions and what... Guys, we did not pay 120, 130 M's, whatever the final fee is, for off-the-ball contributions or for one back heel to Salah, which, granted, incredible back heel that was when he came on. He's had a couple alright games where I thought, you know what? You're giving me something to work with here. But that's not enough for over 100 million. You can say he controls the price, he doesn't control the price. We are doing this based on the transfer itself. Has it been a transfer worth 120 million so far? The answer is a resounding no. I believe in Wirtz. I'm going to say that right here, right now. Whilst he's still stinking it up, obviously he got 2 assists against Eintracht Frankfurt and nothing else since or before. I believe he's a good player. But I'm sorry to say, let's all be honest about it. Right here, right now, he has to be on this list and he has to be really high because the expectations were sky high. And you could argue he's one of the big reasons why Liverpool, in terms of changing their midfield that worked so well apparently last season to win in the league, is now faltering. Let's be completely honest about it. So let's see what happens. Will he make it off the list? And in first, speaking of Liverpool, we'll take it back to the Anfield. And it's 4 for Oshavin because first place we have Milos Kerkez. Why do I play that sound? Because, I repeat, JFTV Luca, come to the stand. I repeat, I don't want to make this about the Doku thing, but when I'm there saying, yo, like, I like Doku in terms of he's very dangerous and whatnot, that's cool, but end product is really lacking. I had Luca, after one goal, posting compilations of that episode saying, oh, look at what my man was saying about Doku, he can be world class. Why hasn't he made any videos about him saying Kirkes is world class right now? This was not a convo about potentially in 4 or 5 years or whatever. He said this guy is world class. Now, granted, I think he was really, really good in the Premier League, right? In that conversation, I was saying that he was fantastic for Bournemouth. And if he keeps up at this level, sure, by all means, after 2-3 years, we can talk about him, you know, being world class. Because there's one thing doing it, you know, for Bournemouth. You're not in Europe, you're not in Champions League or even Europa League. You're just doing it for Bournemouth. I thought he'd be good. So make no mistake about it. I am also holding my hands up. I got Kirkes so far very wrong. I just didn't call him world class like some other people did, you know. But again, what's shocking to me is how bad he's been nearly every single game, right? People said he was alright one time against, I think it was at Arsenal at home, because Madueke didn't score despite going past him a number of times. Every other game, he's made mistake upon mistake. They're trying this inverted thing when we know he likes to get on the outside and whipping crosses. It's just, they're making the wrong choice time and time again. It reminds me a little bit of, do you remember when Napoleon was inverting, when he tried to, you know, be sly and invade Russia back in 1812? For those of us who remember, well, that led to the fall of his entire empire. This might be the fall of Liverpool's empire, bro, because 6 losses out of 7 is disgraceful for a serious team. It's a team that a club and a team that I respect highly. This is embarrassing. I don't know if the onus is on Slot to get the best out of him or on himself, because look, you don't need Slot to be a good coach to tell you watch out for your back post, don't make dumb decisions. You don't need Slot to tell you how to complete 5-6 yard passes to your fellow centre back or to the midfielder in front of you or to the winger in front of you. These things are things that you learn when you are playing Sunday League football or even lunchtime primary school football. So this is unforgivable for him so far. I'd like to think it improves, because I said he'll be a good signing for Liverpool based on how washed Robertson was last year. But so far, guys, it's looking dark. So that is our list. Just to quickly recap it for you in case you want to have a, I don't know, you're listening or something. I don't know why you'd be doing that. But anyway, 10th, Trafford. 9th, Sancho. 8th, Wissa, whatever you want to call him. 7th, Zinchenko. 6th, Garnacho. 5th, Simmons. 4th, Isak. 3rd, Frimpong. 2nd, Verts. And in 1st, Kirkes. We'll be back in December to see who's on the list. So make sure you subscribe. We are on the road to 50k. On the next road to 100k. Keep it coming. Let me know any video ideas you want. And don't worry, weekend predictions, due to popular demand, will be back tomorrow. We will be there. Hope to see you guys. Have a great weekend. In a bit. Bosh.